Well, hey everybody, this is Don from Wizard Tower Games. It is 8 p.m., 2000 hours, depending what line of work, where you're at, what you're doing, and we're live. Hope everybody's having a good night tonight. Lots to talk about. Um, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Scott Mulder, hold on a second. Let me start clicking the names. Sorry about that. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Rod, how you doing? Brooklyn, how you doing? Oh, lots of little things to talk about, and um, just kind of want to get into everything. And if I sound discombobulated, I am a little bit, but that's just me. Has it been a really quick week for anybody? My wife mentioned today about tomorrow being Thursday, and I swear to God, it seems like tomorrow's Tuesday. Just crazy, crazy, crazy quick stuff happening. I apologize about bumping my live tonight from last night, but I wanted to watch the vice presidential debate. And that's going to kind of segue into one of the first things I want to talk about tonight. Um, let's see, Rod, real quick. So I changed my last name just for you, so you don't have to keep mispronouncing my last name. All right, we got to talk. I got to figure out. Yeah, let me guess. It's not Weible, it's Weeble or something. The A's silent. Am I right? I'll talk. I got to talk to you on the phone. We got to do a video chat one day. We've never even talked. Yeah, I butcher a lot of people's last names. Yeah, of course it is because you're in the Netherlands, Brooklyn. All right, real quick. Last night I made what I thought was an innocuous post. All I said is I'm going to bump my live till today because I wanted to watch the presidential debate. And I had an interesting message from somebody, and it was a message that I have not gotten since I owned my publishing company many years ago. And that was, I got a PM from an individual, and they said, why'd you bump your live just for the VP debate? And it was just kind of a question. And I said that I was just curious. I really wanted to see Vance and Walz in action because you see them talk, but you really don't see them kind of talk together. And everybody seems to avoid the important questions. And I was hoping ABC News or CBS would really put their nose, I think CBS would really put their nose to the grindstone and push them. And so I just basically said that really, really nice, innocent thing. And he goes, and he pushed me by saying, who do you plan to vote for if you don't mind me asking? Very politely. And I said, I answered back. I said, well, it really doesn't matter who I plan to vote for. So I just don't really get into politics like that. And he pushed me, and I asked him, why is it so important if you know who I vote for? And he said, literally, in fact, I got the message pulled up right here. He said, because it's very important to me because I need to know whether or not I'm going to continue to purchase products from you. Plus, I want to know whether or not I'm going to still follow your page. Now, this individual did not indicate whether he is pro Vance or pro Walz. I did go to his personal page and look to see a kind of clue into who he's kind of leaning towards. And his page is pretty well sanitized, non-political. But I wanted to address that, I think, to everybody here, something about me and Wizard Tower Games. Scott Mulder says, yeah, it's flying by. It's a 100-hour work week for me this week, so I'm surprised I don't even know what day it is. 100-hour work week. Jimmy Crickets guy, what do you do for a living? Are you a doctor? Man, 100-hour work week? I thought I was bad. Wow. Take it easy, my friend. Relax. 100-hour work weeks put you in the grave real quick. So me and politics and my company. Now, even on my personal page, I tend to avoid politics by and large. I did ask today, about the debate, how and who and why, for anybody who wanted to answer it. Not because I'm friend choosing on who I want to unfriend, but when it comes to Wizard Tower Games and politics, look, politics is divisive no matter what. All right. And for those of you on my personal page, I think you can see based on my friends, I have a mixture. I've got a lot of Trump supporters. I have a lot of Biden supporters, Harris supporters. I have a lot of people who are kind of middle of the road, independent, if you will. And I sit there and, real quick. Weibel. Oh, okay. I can get that easy enough. I'll just mispronounce your name continuously because that's what I do. I mean, you'll have to knock me in the head with it a few times, Rod, and I'll eventually get it in my thick skull. Sorry. Weibel. That's easy. But the thing with me in politics is this, is it's sort of like when I had my publishing company, is when you have a business, and this is just my own personal belief, my own business philosophy, I'm not talking about anybody else, but I see a lot of other publishers out there who really put their politics out there. And I really think that as a businessman or a businesswoman, you're really doing yourself a disservice when you do that, because money is money, a customer is a customer. And I've said this before in other videos. If I'm at a convention and you walk up, if two people walk up to me and one has, I love Donald Trump, and the other has, I love Kamala Harris, I'm going to treat both people equally with respect. Both their money weighs just the same amount as the other person. And both those people deserve me as a business person to treat them with respect. Okay? The only time that attitude of mine would change is if you start acting like a yo-yo or a wiener to me, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kick rocks to you, buddy. But your politics don't matter to me. Even on a one-on-one friend basis, I don't care, about it. Scott says, that's silly. The person was choosing to buy product based on your voting choices. I guess so, Mr. Samora. I'm not a warrant officer. Rod will get that joke. He was Army. See, this is Mr. Samosa. See, I can't even get your snark right on my live. I apologize. The snark was awesome, and it went right above my head. See, I warned you about me. Jeez, can't even take an insult right away. Dang it. Scale Forge says, I do not affiliate my business with any side of the political spectrum. I've been watching both parties for several years. Neither attract me. And Brooklyn goes on and says, in the end, money talks, bullshit walks. Amen. And see, that's the whole thing with me. Politics and business really have no business mixing unless your business is selling political-based items. I can manufacture T-shirts, and we're getting ready to put T-shirts in our store, and you'll notice that there's one kind of T-shirt that is miraculously not present, and that's stuff that's heavy political leaning. And if there is ever going to be anything politically leaning, I will make sure that I have side by side two versions you can choose. You can choose the D or the R shirt. Scott Mulder says, the long hours are due to my work in the corporate security field. We were a coverage-based business. We had a lot of employees leave this week in a very difficult job market. Oh, yeah. So basically, you get the short straw and get to fill it all in. And it's kind of like a weird thing. It sucks because of the hours, but I imagine your paycheck appreciates it. Unless you're the owner of the company, then it all falls on you. Thaddeus says, "Wait, you have a voting preference?" Thing is this is, and I get the sarcasm there, and it's a thing. We all have preferences, okay? And Thaddeus makes that joke because me and Thaddeus have kind of, I'm not going to call it bump heads, but me and Thaddeus have disagreed politically a few times. And you notice Thaddeus is on my page on this video posting. We're friends. I don't dislike the man because you know why? Because he's entitled to vote for whoever the hell he wants. This is the United States of America. Gunther, how you doing, my friend? Gunther the Mad says, some people can't separate their political beliefs from the rest of their lives, including cutting themselves off from positive experiences. They're lost, in my opinion. Yes. And I'm gonna real quickly bring as an example someone that I think is an extremely talented game designer, and that's Venger Satanis. And the only reason I'm bringing him up is because he is so out there with it. I know he won't take offense. Venger recently announced that he was getting out of game publishing. Cited, a basement full of books and other things. Very public. That's what I'm talking about. And Venger is extremely out there with his politics. And I have always said, both privately and publicly, that that's going to maybe bite him in his ass one day. And I think that's partially what did. I don't knock Venger for his political beliefs. I don't knock anybody for their political beliefs. But as a business, you really need to say, unless you don't like money, unless you don't like success in your business, you really should keep the politics out of it. I mean, just the way it is. Scaleforge says, in the end, business is business to me. Money is money. I don't choose sides of any beliefs or political following, if that makes sense. Yes, it does. And that's the thing. It's just like me and my wife. Me and my wife politically aligned. We both agree with each other politically. But my wife is a teacher. And my wife is not going to mistreat one of her children in school that she teaches because of a parent's political beliefs, and no one should when it comes to business. Scott says, back in the 80s, we could all get along regardless of politics. I miss the 80s. And that brings Rod into my comment real quick. Rod says, I had hair in the 80s. I missed that decade too. Amen. Hair. What is that? Okay, Rod. I went ahead and I did a post on my personal page that just asked about the debate, who and why. And Rod made a very good point about, they both lied. And, it's a shame, and I'm paraphrasing Rod's comment, but basically what Rod said, and I'm paraphrasing, is that, they both did some lying. And it's a shame because there was a time, back at one time, lying was considered bad in politics. And that's the thing with me is I remember back in the day when, you got caught lying openly, it was a scandal. And now it just seems blasé. It's and I'll bring them both up. You got Trump with 36 or 39 felony convictions. You have Joe Biden, who's been attached to this whole Hunter Biden laptop thing, and it seems now that this laptop thing might be true. You have people that are like two politicians last night. They both got caught in lies, and I'm not doing a scale of what lie was worse, what lie was better, but they both basically got called on the carpet, and it's just kind of like, who cares? To me, I do care, but. Gunther says, absolutely, Venger is incredibly talented, but his political power, his politics has turned some people off. I may or may not agree with him, but he puts out good products. Venger, and I will defend this man this way, Venger Satanis is one hell of a game designer. Very talented, very good at what he does, very, very, creative. But his politics are just so out there. And it's not that he is, either a Trump or Biden supporter. It's like the support that he does, he goes like way pagan on the spectrum of just wild and crazy. And that can turn people off. Gunther Matt says, politician lied? Say it ain't so. I know, isn't it just surprising? And we're going to move on after this next comment. Scaleforge says, in the end, it doesn't matter whether you believe in the Democrats, Republicans, or the flying spaghetti monster. If you bring money to the table, we do business. Absolutely. And by the way, speaking of Venger Satanis, spaghetti monsters, I think, would be a cool thing that he could really probably make something out of in a game. And Rod says, Venger's whole thing was to be a shock jock of RPG design that has identity to stand out. Yeah, I actually was talking with Eric Tenkar and Tom Vrolt one time, and that's why I said he wants to be the Howard Stern of gaming. And, didn't work out quite well. Thaddeus says, I'd also point out on a personal level, Venger's actually a pretty nice guy. That's the thing with it, and he's a really good poster child for this. On a personal level, I really like the guy. He's talented as hell. And I hear from a lot of people that he's a lot of fun to be around. And also he's a really good DM, really out there and creative. But, you gotta sometimes hold back, and you just gotta sometimes say, no, I can't really say that. Um, Thida says, oftentimes you can look past politics. People are often very nuanced and will surprise you. Yes, exactly. So that's basically what happened with me with it was. So what I'm going to do for now on is I think when it comes to Wizard Tower games, I'm just going to go ahead and like stay away from politics unless I make a product specifically designed around it. And I've actually thinking about was making kind of like, and this kind of falls into a new product idea I had. A while back, I made a module cover and I posted it in the Star Frontiers New Genesis Facebook group, and it was a joke. It was meant in humor about the diarrhea monster, and a lot of people liked the graphics. They liked that was kind of cute. And I thought about doing a few games that were kind of like fun and hokey and plays, and I thought about doing one on Congress and kind of making fun of Congress mutually, and just doing some fun stuff, not political, more just fun and crazy and wild, but probably don't have time for that. Okay. Want to talk a little bit also about something that I'm going to do a call out for my friend Tom Veralt. Okay. For all of you. Tom Veralt owns, Tom Veralt runs Tabletop Tap Room, and Tom lives in Maine, and Tom runs a Dungeons and Dragons group for young kids. Okay, he's got a group of 29 kids, and someone stole some books from their secure little locker area, and they basically did it. And what they took was it basically shut his group down. It absolutely shut his group down. So if anybody has anything spare D&D 5e and would like to go ahead and donate it to Tom, I think that would be a really cool thing to do. I am going to be providing some Dungeon Master's guides, dice, some modules. I'm going to be doing some other bits and pieces to get his group fired up and ready to go and back roaring. But some scumbag took some game manuals and it shut the group down. And I'm basically just telling everybody and anybody who's watching this, if you can, if you have it in your heart, and even if you can't, maybe just a positive word, swing by his channel, Tabletop Tap Room, hit a subscribe, make a comment. But Tom's a good guy, and Tom's doing something really good and positive. And this is affecting young gamers who are trying to get gaming going. Another group, 29, a group of 29. And Tom is not out there shilling or begging. I'm doing the shilling and begging for him because I think what he's doing is very cool, very noble, and also it helps out fellow gamers. So if you want, I'm not going to give out his address. Reach out to Tom Veralt and go ahead and ask him. Tell him that I sent you, and let's help out Tom if you can. Like I said, I'm going to send him a whole bunch of Wizard Tower stuff. I'm going to help him get it back going. But I figured this world is big enough. We got a lot of really cool people and out there. A lot of people in this chat are great people. In fact, all of you in this chat are great people. And I think that helping Tom out with his kids would be a really cool thing. Catch up on some comments here. Scale 4, check your DMs. The coaster designs are coming out nicely. Oh, I will get to that in a minute. Got something cool I want to show everybody. Gunther says, politics absolutely belong in RPGs. Birthright, anyone? Very true. Rod says, sure, I got a bunch so I can send a PM for his address. Rod, thank you very much. Like I said, let him know that I sent you because he's probably going to be wondering why his people and how do people know about this. I proudly proclaim it. Like I said, I will shill and beg for him. And by the way, I am not doing this at his bequest. He is not asking me, hey, Don, can you toss a word out? I'm doing this on my own to help him out. Um, I can print maybe a dice rolling tower. That'd be really cool. And I'll get to this in a minute, but throw that in my next order and I'll make sure he gets it. Rod says, as you know, Cindy publishes a lot of stuff on hand sitting around the office. Yes, we do. All kinds of cool stuff. And Scott says, I want to help. Can Tom put a list together on what he needs? From what I understand, Scott, this is what he told me. Okay. Someone got in, they basically took all the Dungeon Master's guides. Now, I'm hooking, just to let everybody know, I'm hooking him up with Dungeon Master's guides, another product. If you guys have a spare one or something like that, I'm sure more than Mary. He's got 29 kids. But, anything I think 5e would be great because that's what they're playing. And, I figure, anything, even if they can't immediately use it, maybe they can use it down the line. Like, you got maybe like an indie spare game module. Like I said, I can help them out with dice. We manufacture our own dice. I'm going to throw a whole bunch of stuff at them, but just anything can help them out. And like I said, hats off to Tom. I mean, taking his own time, 29 young kids, teach them how to play D&D. That's a seed that we need. Not only people like me and Rod and other people who do publishing, because the seed helps get us future customers, but also just D&D gaming or RPGs in general help us out. More kids playing it, more kids growing up, learning the joy of it, the happiness of it. And, like I said, I can't talk enough about it. I just think that's really cool. And it was really shitty, whoever stole those books, because I just think it's really crappy that someone would do something like that. So, Tom, if you watch this video, sorry, buddy, I'm going to shill for you and I'm going to beg for you. Also, like I said, I got a lot of stuff happening. What I want to get into, I got kind of a list here off to the side. Oh, I know I'm going to get into. The National Role-Playing Game Museum. I have mentioned it in the past. It is now going to be fully fired up because I got notification earlier today that the 5013C was approved tentatively, waiting for final paperwork, so the nonprofit status will be updated. And so a little bit of information about the National Role-Playing Game Museum. It's going to probably be here in Battle Creek. And looking at a fourth quarter 2025, first quarter 2026 opening. It is not going to just be a small little tiny thing. You walk in 2 or 3 rooms, see some stuff behind a glass case. This is a very organized, full-scale museum. It is going to have not only Dungeons and Dragons, it's going to have keyword National Role-Playing Game Museum. It is going to be basically anything and everything RPGs. It's going to have a walking as you walk through the history of role-playing games, science fiction, steampunk, fantasy, all genres. It's going to talk about the various companies, the histories of those companies. It's going to have active displays. It's going to have, when I say virtual, I don't mean AI. What I mean is it's going to have virtual interactivity. So as an example, you're going to walk up to as a display, let's just say. There's going to be a 22-inch screen with the ability to press it, and it'll tell you and read off the story of the item or the company that you're looking at. Along with that, there'll be QR code scannability for you to go ahead and use your smartphone or your other smart device to go ahead and learn about the artifacts that are in the museum. There's going to be a small preservation center where new items come in that can get properly cleaned up. Anything needed in order to basically sustain them and to get them where they can be displayed in a safe manner. That will be an open glass area where people can watch people working on these things. Along with that, there's going to be a small eating area where you can grab a little bit of lunch while you're there. there's going to be specific areas where you can go in and there'll be interviews playing on the screen with various icons of the role-playing game industry. It's a really, really cool thing, and very proud to be part of it. And there is a Facebook page that has not had much done with it because there was still a lot of tentative things kind of in the works, but now it looks like it's a full throttle, all four engines, 100% moving forward now. So it is opening. There's going to be a lot of imagery coming up now, posted on the social media. And what I'll do is I'll post a link to it on the Wizard Tower Games Facebook page this evening. And along with that, we're getting now into the full-scale planning of it, the 3D renderings of what the exhibits will look like and such. At this point, there's about moi and others, about 1,500 artifacts. We want a lot more. So a website is definitely going to be going live. The website's going live probably mid-weekend, early part of the week. And at that point, there's going to be information on the museum. There's going to be back-end information so you know it's legitimate. Everything is going to be very transparent. It is going to be very, very public. So there's nothing mysterious behind the scenes. You're going to be able to see all the tax filings for it, very open record. There's things that the museum does not have to provide openly, but we're going to provide openly because we want to show people that this is legitimate, that money is going to what it's supposed to go to. There will be an admission charge to get into the museum. There'll be an admission charge for certain special events that occur. But the website's going to have a ton of information, but most importantly, the website's going to have the ability for you to either loan your items for a specific amount of time, and or you can donate your items. So if you have items that you would like to loan, there's a specific process for that will occur. There is a written agreement. It's not just here you go. There's protections in place for your items because sometimes some of these artifacts could be pretty expensive. I am donating something that I snagged this weekend from Ed Lazor's marketplace, and that is Gary Gygax's personal ID badge from a convention. So that with a certificate of authenticity signed by Gail Gygax, Paul Stromberg, et cetera, et cetera. So that's going to be one of the things that I'm donating, but also I'm donating a lot of games, a lot of stuff, along with my time, my design skills, and a lot of other stuff because I'm part of it. So a lot of information is going to be on the website. So you are free if you want, when it's up, I'm going to be posting it to take a look at it. But we're going to be in need of artifacts. And like I said, you can either outright donate them. And by the way, just to let you know, in the donation clause, there's a clause in the donation paperwork. So as an example, let's say you donate a stack of modules. Those modules will be thoroughly documented as you donating them to the museum. In other words, they become the property of the museum. But there's a clause. If for some reason the museum ever closes or anything like that, they go back to you. Or if you say, I just don't want them back, there's going to be a space on it that says, if the museum is ever sold, which I don't foresee it being, we're just being cautious. Or something happens, like as an example, the museum shuts down or something like that. There's going to be documentation that you say, you know what, instead of coming back to me, I want them to go here. So this is being done the right way. This is being done the proper way. This is not half-assed. This is not, corner of some town, huckster kind of, trust me, wink, wink, I got you covered. This is legitimate stuff. When, as an example, and I'm just going to give an example, let's say you donate this to the museum, okay? There's going to be information, like, and let's say a module. There's a module, and let's say Rod donates that module to the museum. What will happen is you'll see a description of the module, a little bit of history on it, and very below say, if you want, donated by the Wable family, or donated, by Roderick Wable. Whatever you want, it'll be listed. But we want to give credit where credit's due. There's going to be an ability for you to donate money further down the road, not right now, but further down the road. And there's going to be a wall, a section in the museum where people who donate at certain levels will be highlighted, and or families, businesses, and that type of thing. And we are kind of tossing it out there. We don't want to do it in the very beginning. We want to make sure that the museum is being set up, lots of imagery. People see it's real and legitimate. Again, I'm stressing that because I think it's important to make sure that people have faith in the product that you're doing. And we're thinking about doing a GoFundMe and try to help out with some of the costs. So, but that's far down the line. We want to make sure first, though, that we have things going. So I am really amped up over this. I want to answer a few questions about that we've been asked. Why not Lake Geneva? Been asked that. Why are we doing this in Battle Creek, Michigan area? Why not Lake Geneva? Because Lake Geneva is the home of Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, role-playing games, yes. D&D is the granddaddy. Yes, Gygax and Arneson are the two brilliant gentlemen who brought so much joy. I mean, me alone, I look at the joy I have now making games and producing games, but also playing them. And as a young man, the joy that it gave me and my friends, and the friendships I've gained as an adult and kid. And what those two men did was just amazing. But at the end of the day, D&D is not, role-playing is far more than Dungeons and Dragons now. And that's the whole purpose of this museum. It is to showcase role-playing games in general. To really just showcase them, the companies, again, the people and such. And even the smaller publishers like Rod, he's had an impact in gaming. So what's going to start happening here is a lot of people are going to start getting inquiries about, we would like to have you answer a simple questionnaire. Tell us about your company. Tell us about your products. Tell us a little history about what got you into role-playing games. And then we're going to have what we call the Living History section. The Living History section was inspired by National Public Radio, NPR. I believe they're still doing it, but NPR had a thing for a while. They were really pushing where you could go ahead and you could make a phone call, and they would answer with a recording, and you could leave kind of like a brief story about yourself, or maybe your grandpa. My grandpa served in World War II, and this is what he did. We're going to have a Living History section where what people can do is people can sit down and they can tell their story on how role-playing games affected them, their family, their life, their world, and that'll become a permanent record with the Living History section. And it's up to you, but it can be published to where people can watch it. And we're going to be doing it on the website once the museum's open. We're going to have a thing where people can kind of click on it and they can watch people record, talk and talk about how role-playing games affected them. So really want to make this special thing. More on who's involved in this. Once the website gets up, you'll be able to see more and more about people involved in this. And it's just a really cool thing. So National Role-Playing Game Museum. It's happening. Now, as far as Wizard Tower Games goes and our services, I mentioned a whole spattering of stuff about a week ago, and a few people said, that's a lot of stuff for one guy to do. You're right. I was kind of talking more vague about down the line what I'd like to have done, but there's two things that we are going to start offering, and we are going to start offering this month, and that is we're going to get into full line book and game publishing services. And we're going to get into a thing called the Wizard Learning Center, which I'll get to in one moment. Now, book and game publishing, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be offering specific packages based on whether you want to publish a book or a game. And it's not so much publishing in the traditional sense. We're going to be offering services that facilitate your ability to get your game and or your book, novel, etc. published. Like as an example, we're going to be offering cover design and layout services. I have secured deals with 3 really good, talented artists who will be offering, and through us, really cool artwork for your products. We're going to be offering educational things where we're going to teach you how to get an ISBN properly, how to get a UPC code properly. And when I say properly is not go online and buy one for $29.99. No, there's a reason why you don't want to go online and just buy one from isbns.com. There's a right way of doing it where it's in your name. There's a back end part where that has to be registered. Things need to be filled out about it. And that's kind of what we're offering. We're going to be facilitating your ability to take your idea and a manuscript. Think about it. You have an idea and you have a manuscript, and you go from that to a finished product. And that's kind of what we're going to be doing. We're offering. That's when I say publishing. We're not going to create events for you or anything like that. What we're going to do also is we're going to help you if you want. We're going to show you how to get your books widespread distributed yourself, where you can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and you can get it in places like ebooks and such. And the thing is I know a lot of people go, I already know how to do it. I can go to Amazon KDP. No, there's a better way of doing it where Amazon does not take the lion's share of your stuff. Let me see here. Hold on a second. Scott Mulder says, I want to help. Can Tom put a list together on what he needs? I'll get with Tom on that, Scott. Y'all know Tom, but I'll get with Tom on that. And this Thursday on the Vlog of Many Things, I'll make sure a list is presented and such and talked about. Scaleforge says, the seed for the future, they might turn into 40K Warhammer figures, even scale modeling. You never know. That's the whole thing. These kids get the bug, and you never know where the bug leads to. Scott goes on and says, what kind of price point would be publishing go for? I understand it would be really subjective, but I was wondering what the ballpark the service would run for. What will happen, Scott, is there's going to be packages based on what you need, okay? And then kind of like an a la carte type thing, because when I did book publishing, I had a lot of people that really liked packages. They get A, B, C, and D, but sometimes they didn't want C. They wanted to add F, that type thing. So what I'm going to have is I'm going to have probably a basic package, which will start at probably about, I don't know, $149. And what $149, and I'm kind of like ballparking here, but basically for like $150, you would get probably a cover design all done. And what we'll do is we're going to kind of, and I'm in the middle of recording them and making them. I'm making very good quality instructional video pack. So basically, you would get services A, B, and C, and then part of that services you'd get a one-on-one consultation with me to help walk you through stuff when you need it, and also along with that you would get availability to download a series of how-to videos that you can refer to back and forth. So basically the way it'll be is it'll be a publishing arm. You'll click on that and it'll say, what do you want to publish? Do you want to publish a book or a game? And you click on that and then it'll ask you further questions, and it kind of delineates it and kind of sorts it out. And then you can go ahead and like with book, I'll pick on book publishing. It's real simple. With book publishing, there'll probably be a series of packages where you can go anywhere from all you want is your book laid out, a cover design, and an ISBN. And Don, show me where to go. Very, very simple. Or you have people that say, look, I need my book laid out, edited. I need a cover. I need an ISBN. I even need a website, because what we're going to do is we're going to provide also very, very simple websites for your beginning author. Games are a little bit more complicated, as we all probably know. With games, it's going to be a way different thing. It's probably going to be with games more a la carte. So this is the list of things that we do. This is how much they cost. And by the way, once you reach X amount of dollars, you can pick one other thing for free, not editing. Um, so, and because games are so subjective, let's face it, what's easier to produce? Is it easier to create a module, or is it easier to take someone's manuscript for a module and put it into print form, or is it easier to take someone's idea for a board game and put that into a box? Well, it's a lot easier to do a module. So again, it's the a la carte thing with games. I think that works out better, but feedback is always welcome. So that's basically what's going to happen with the two new services we're offering is the book and game publishing, and then we're going to have the Wizard Learning Center. This is something that I wanted to do for a long time. My wife is a developmental kindergarten teacher, and she has taught everything from first grade, kindergarten, developmental kindergarten, down to young fives. And what the Wizard Learning Center is over the course of the 16 years with my beautiful wife, I have made a lot of stuff for her. She, on the average year, I always have several things. She usually says, hey, I need something special made. I need something special done. She maybe has something that she utilizes for her classroom that just doesn't work out really well. It's not well developed or done. So she has me kind of nuance it, tweak it, clean it up, make it better. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be offering for teachers and for people who homeschool their kids, only for kindergarten, developmental kindergarten, preschool, and young fives, that range. And maybe first grade, because I've done a lot of stuff for first grade when she was teaching Montessori. And also, if you are a Montessori parent, we're going to be providing basically things that you can purchase and print yourself, or we'll print it for you, and it helps you teach your kids. These are going to be different things. So if you're a teacher, especially for teachers, they'll know what a lot of this stuff is. There's things like there's song books for kids. It sounds innocuously silly for us adults, but singing is very, very key for young children in those grades. Along with things like that, there's evaluation forms to help keep your kids, like sounds and haptics and things like that teachers utilize on their children to see where their kids are at in their learning process. Stuff like that. Other stuff that can be used for, like I said, for homeschooling. My wife wrote a book, a children's book. She did a children's book, and I illustrated about Montessori kids. So, things like that help parents and or teachers become better. And you can't beat it because it was designed and implemented by a teacher with 25 years under her belt. And all centered directly on that age group. So those are the things coming out pretty soon. Brooklyn says, to be honest, I think 3D printing might go very well with this. Yes, and real quick, I want to show everybody something that Brooklyn made. And I am really, let me do this. This is really cool. This is really cool. Now, let me real quick do this and I'll show you guys. Brooklyn lives in the Netherlands, and Brooklyn does customized 3D printing, a lot of really nifty, cool stuff, and does coasters and things like that. And I wanted to show everybody real quick. There it is. Let me show this. I am really proud of this. Let me share screen this. Boom. This. The little black marks up here are just from printing. They come off. But this type of stuff, that's pretty cool. Brooklyn took my logo, and Brooklyn went ahead and did that. Brooklyn says, Bamboo Lab and several other brands offer packages for schools such as teach kids tinkering skills, problem solving, design. Yes, but not for kindergarten or young fives. But that'd be a really good idea for older grades. And says my screen froze. Dumb question, everybody. Is my screen still frozen? Please in here post if it did. I can see myself moving. Unless someone says otherwise, I'll just presume I can be seen and everything. But yeah, this is done on a filament printer, and it's a coaster. But actually, I think this would be really cool if you made it larger, maybe put a light behind it and make a light out of it, which, yeah. So pretty cool stuff. Let me do this. Let me stop. And it goes back to my beautiful face. No, didn't think so. So yes, so basically, if you like little stuff like that, Brooklyn's from the Netherlands, but she can go ahead and hook you up. And shipping from the Netherlands to the United States with small stuff like that is only a few bucks. It's not anything really crazy. Scott says that's really cool coaster. Yeah. Brooklyn also does Pokemon. We'll put your company logo, all of that. And then Brooklyn says Lightbox. Yeah, I was just thinking about making like a 12-inch one. And then what you do is you have a light behind it. I actually do that on my printers. I did one with my last name, but I didn't. No, never mind. I didn't do it on a printer. What I did is I used my laser cutter and I etched it out of MDF. And then Brooklyn says doable. Yes, it is. So basically, that's pretty much what's rolling. That's going to start happening. We're going to start doing some packages like that to help people out. Like I said, a lot of it's going to be a la carte. So, everybody needs something different. Some people need just a basic. Some people need like a lot of stuff. And like I said, I'm going to be offering, part of what I'll be doing is I'll be offering limited one-on-ones with people. I can walk you through it. I can talk you through it. I can also sit there and, we're going to offer also like tutorial videos where I'm going to get really into like, basically, I thought about doing a Patreon, but I think it'd be better if just people go ahead and like, you pay a fee and you have access to, very specific information that you want to go ahead and utilize for your publishing. I have a lot of experience in book publishing and game publishing. I'm even going to do stuff on weird stuff. So I know people who get into 3D printing, and one of the biggest problems people have with 3D printing, they're like, why am I having this issue with my printing? How do I level a bed on a printer? That type of stuff. So going to get into stuff like that. Going to get into like when people start getting in the game publishing, why do I need a UPC code? Why can't I use an ISBN? Well, there's a very specific reason why sometimes you use ISBNs, sometimes you use UPC codes. We're going to talk about overseas. I'm going to do things like on overseas dealing with China, how to deal with China properly. There's a way you want to do it. How to protect yourself from unscrupulous people out there. There is sadly a lot of people. There's a lot of bad actors out there. And you got to be very careful of what you're dealing with. And I'm going to get into how to avoid and don't get taken by this type of stuff, because there's a lot of ways that you can get spanked in this. So and Brooklyn says they can reach out to us. We have a teaching side of our business as well, and also 3D printing has become very affordable. Bamboo laws, yes, and that's the thing. I mean, we're gonna get into talking about if you also want to get into things like 3D printing. What is if you want to get into book printing and binding? There are a lot of machines out there that are touted as being very good, and they're not, because what happens is these people put stuff up on Amazon, and then what they do is they'll have people purchase from them, and it's very notorious in Asia. They'll have people purchase that they know they refund their money, but it allows them to get that review. And or you'll see a place with 500 reviews and 490 of them are all 5-star, but they're not confirmed purchases. Little nuances like that. But the big thing we're going to get into is we're going to teach you how to publish your book, publish your games, doing it and doing it right. I say something that's kind of unpopular because people take offense to it, and I don't mean it how it sounds. I mean it with genuine caring, and that is, there's a lot of people who publish games and publish books and they do it half-assed, but they don't realize they're doing it that way because they get a lot of bad information, and we're going to put out a lot of good information. But yeah, so been on here now for 50 minutes. That's pretty much all I have to say. Again, look for this weekend. We're going to be getting, the new website is done. I finished it today. Yay. I'm giving it a day, and then I'm going to walk through it. I'm going to have my wife walk through it and a couple other trusted people to walk through it to make sure I catch all the, making sure I get all my T's crossed and my I's dotted, and, I don't miss anything major because I don't want to do a website and I miss something major. And so that'll be going up this weekend. Again, it'll have the publishing part on it. It's going to have the Wizard Learning Center and all that good stuff. So this is Don from Wizard Tower Games. Like I said, I appreciate everybody. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for talking. I appreciate it a lot. And yeah, so hope everyone sees everybody this weekend. Tomorrow, again, I'm not used to saying tomorrow, but tomorrow is Thursday. Check out the Vlog of Many Things. It'll be streamed to the Wizard Tower Games channel also. And we're going to get into a lot of cool stuff that I want to talk about tonight, but I'm not going to because we're going to go into it tomorrow night. So everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for all the comments. This is Don from Wizard Tower Games signing off, and I will be talking to you this weekend. Oh, Thursday night real quick.